Hello, dear friends and fellow food lovers. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to show you something truly special that's sure to become a new favorite in your kitchen. We'll need just 2 eggs. Crack them into a bowl, just like this. And then, gently but energetically, whisk them with a whisk or a fork until they are perfectly smooth. Have you ever considered how amazing this simple ingredient is? Eggs are not only a fantastic source of protein and essential vitamins, but they also serve as a perfect binding agent for so many recipes. And here's a little secret for fluffier and more consistent results. All right, let's move on to the heart of our dish, the magnificent mincemeat. Grab about 1.3 pounds, 600 grams, of fresh, high-quality ground meat. Now, let's add some vibrant color and depth of flavor. We'll start with 1 tablespoon of rich tomato paste. Next, a touch of French mustard, approximately 1 teaspoon, 5 milliliters. Then, for aroma and color, we'll sprinkle in a pinch of ground paprika, a dash of freshly ground black pepper, and fragrant oregano, all to your taste. Don't be afraid to experiment with spices. They are what make any dish truly unique. And, of course, let's add 1 to 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, which will give our meat that magical umami note. Now, gently mix everything together, ensuring every piece of ground meat is infused with these incredible flavors. What spice do you think is the most underestimated in cooking? Now that all the spices are added, it's time to bring them all together. Use your hands. It's the best way to ensure that every bit of the ground meat is evenly coated with our wonderful additions. Just gently mix the meat, but don't overdo it. If you mix it for too long, the meat can become tough. We want a tender and juicy result, don't we? It's like a little meditation in the kitchen, feeling each ingredient and imagining how delicious the dish will be. Boldly add those 2 beaten eggs that we prepared at the very beginning. They will serve as an excellent binding agent, helping the meat hold its shape and remain juicy inside. Now it's time for the breadcrumbs. Add about half a cup, approximately 60 grams, to help the mixture become firmer, yet still tender. They will absorb excess moisture and give our finished dish a wonderful texture. What would any dish be without aromatic fresh herbs? They are the essential touch that adds freshness, vibrant flavor, and a gorgeous appearance. Right now, we'll take some fresh parsley, a few sprigs. It's renowned not only for its refreshing taste, but also for its rich content of vitamins, especially vitamin K and C. And parsley is also excellent at combating odors. It's such a versatile ingredient that it's appropriate in almost any savory dish. Carefully wash the herbs and chop them very finely. The finer, the better, so that its delicate leaves are evenly distributed throughout the ground meat, imparting all their aroma. Now, let's add this fragrant parsley to our ground meat with eggs and breadcrumbs. And once again, gently but confidently, mix everything by hand. Allow each ingredient to merge into one, creating the perfect foundation for our dish. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty in the kitchen. It's all part of the creative process. Can you feel how the aromas are starting to dance together? This is the true magic of cooking, and I'm so delighted to share it with you. Dear friends, I want to tell you that every time you cook, you put a piece of your soul into the food, and that makes it truly special. We are here to inspire you to new culinary adventures and help you discover your talents in the kitchen. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and may every dish you make be filled with love and joy. Now, our perfectly mixed ground meat is ready for the next step. Grab a baking sheet. I always recommend using good quality parchment paper. It significantly simplifies cleanup and prevents sticking. Spread all of our fragrant ground meat in an even layer across the entire baking sheet. Try to make the layer of uniform thickness. This is very important for the meat to cook evenly and for every piece to be perfectly baked. You don't need a super thick layer. About 1/2 to 3/4 inch, approximately 1.3 to 1.9 centimeters, will be sufficient. Spread it with gentle motions to create a beautiful, smooth surface. Onions are the basis of many culinary masterpieces, adding depth of flavor and a unique aroma. Let's take one large onion. The first rule is to peel it thoroughly. And here's a little secret to avoid tears while chopping. Try putting the onion in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes before cutting, or chew gum while slicing. The sulfur compounds that cause tears will become less volatile. It really helps. Now let's chop the onion into very small cubes. The smaller, the better, so it caramelizes faster and harmoniously melts into our sauce. After all, nobody wants to see large chunks of onion, right? Though, of course, if you like to feel the texture, you can cut them a bit larger. It's always a matter of taste. Transfer the chopped onion to a hot pan where vegetable oil, about 1 to 2 tablespoons, 15 to 30 milliliters, has already been heated. For an extra special aroma and golden color, you can add a touch of butter, about 1 teaspoon, 5 grams. Sauté it for just a couple of minutes until the onion becomes translucent and slightly soft. It should release its fragrance but not burn. What's your absolute favorite way to use onions in cooking? And following the onion, carrots will join our vegetable symphony, another indispensable ingredient. They will give our dish not only a rich color, but also a natural sweetness that beautifully balances the other flavors. We'll take one medium-sized carrot. Wash and peel it thoroughly. I always prefer to choose carrots with a smooth, bright surface. It's a sign of their freshness and vibrant flavor. Now we need to grate the carrot. You can use a grater with medium or large holes. The main thing is that it's grated evenly. I like using a coarse grater, so the carrot remains slightly perceptible and adds an interesting texture. And did you know that carrots, rich in beta-carotene, are very beneficial for vision and immunity? Now that the onion has become translucent and slightly soft, we'll add our freshly grated carrot to it. Place it in the pan directly with the sautéed onion. We will continue to sauté them together for another 3 to 5 minutes, stirring constantly. It's important that the vegetables cook evenly and don't burn. You'll see the carrot begin to slightly soften, and its color will become even more vibrant, releasing its natural sweetness. During sautéing, the natural sugars caramelize, which gives the vegetables a deep and rich flavor, an ideal base for any sauce or filling. I often emphasize that proper thermal processing of vegetables can significantly enhance their taste and digestibility. Now that our onion and carrots are perfectly sautéed and their aromas have magically intertwined, it's time to return them to our ground meat. Carefully transfer this golden, sweetish vegetable mixture from the pan directly to the ground meat on the baking sheet. This addition will not only give it depth of flavor and an appetizing color, but also make the dish incredibly juicy, preventing it from drying out during baking. Once again, get your hands in there and thoroughly mix all the ingredients. It's important that the vegetables are evenly distributed throughout the ground meat so that every piece of the future dish is infused with this rich flavor. We will move on to creating a delicious filling that will perfectly complement our meatloaf. And what could be better for a filling than tender and nutritious potatoes? Potatoes are an excellent source of carbohydrates, B vitamins, and potassium, making them not only tasty, but also a beneficial addition to any dish. Let's take 2 to 3 medium potatoes. Peel them thoroughly. The key point here is uniform slicing. Cut the potatoes into small and even cubes, approximately 1 to 1.5 centimeters, about 0.4 to 0.6 inches. Such uniformity is critically important for all the potatoes to cook simultaneously and have a perfect texture, whether for boiling or further mashing. After all, nobody wants to end up with some overcooked pieces and others still raw, do they? This is absolutely necessary to maintain a flawless culinary balance. After chopping, be sure to rinse the potatoes in cold water to remove excess starch, which will prevent them from sticking together. Why do you think potatoes are so often used for creating fillings? Excellent. Now that our potatoes are meticulously diced into uniform cubes, which, as I've mentioned, is a key condition for even cooking, we can proceed with their thermal processing. Transfer all the diced potato cubes into a suitably sized pot. It's important to use a pot with enough space for both the potatoes and the water. Then, Pour cold water into the pot. It should completely cover the potatoes by about 1 to 2 centimeters, approximate 0.4 to 0.8 inches. Adding cold water allows the potatoes to heat gradually, which promotes even cooking from the edge to the center, unlike boiling water, which can cook the edges while the core is still firm. After the water has been added, season with salt. Approximately 1 teaspoon per liter, about 34 fluid ounces, of water will be sufficient, but you can always adjust to taste. Salt not only enhances the flavor of the potatoes, but also helps them soften faster, as it affects osmotic processes. Gently stir the water with the potatoes and salt. Now place the pot over high heat, bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat to medium so the water actively simmers but doesn't boil too vigorously. Boil the potatoes for approximately 30 minutes until they become tender and can be easily pierced with a fork. Checking for doneness this way is essential. Visual inspection is not always accurate. What advantages do you see in this approach to cooking root vegetables? Excellent. While our potatoes are gradually cooking to perfect tenderness, we're not wasting time and will prepare another essential ingredient that will give our dish a truly deep and intense aroma. That is, of course, garlic. Garlic is not just a seasoning, it's a powerful flavoring agent and a treasure trove of beneficial substances. Take 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, depending on how intense a flavor you desire. First, gently crush each clove with the flat side of a knife. This helps remove the peel easily and simultaneously initiates the release of its aromatic compounds. Then, finely mince it. Remember, the finer you chop the garlic, the more effectively its organic compounds, such as allicin, will be released. These not only give it that unique taste, but also possess potent antibacterial and antioxidant properties. Sauté the finely chopped garlic. A mere 30 to 60 seconds. That's the maximum. Garlic releases its aroma very quickly, but it can also instantly burn and become bitter, which would completely spoil the dish's flavor. As soon as the garlic begins to emit its delightful aroma, immediately add an entire package of spinach leaves. Don't be surprised by their volume. Spinach is mostly water and will instantly reduce in size. Stir it with the garlic, and you'll see how the leaves quickly soften and lose their structure. Sauté for just 1 to 2 minutes until the spinach is tender, but still retains its bright green color. It's important not to overcook spinach, so it doesn't become watery and retains its numerous vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin K, vitamin A, and iron. It's an incredibly beneficial and low-calorie ingredient. Our sautéed spinach and garlic are now at the peak of their flavor and aroma. Now we will give them a new form and a creamy texture that will be perfect for a filling. Carefully transfer all the reduced volume and fragrant spinach garlic mixture into a deep bowl suitable for a blender. Make sure nothing spills. Every spinach leaf is precious. Then, add 100 to 150 milliliters, about 3.4 to 5 fluid ounces, of heavy cream to the mixture. I prefer 33% because it creates a truly luxurious and smooth consistency, but you can use 20% for a lighter option. The cream will not only make the filling creamy, but also soften the sharp notes of garlic and accentuate the tenderness of the spinach. Now, arm yourself with an immersion blender and thoroughly blend the mixture until it reaches a completely uniform, smooth, and creamy consistency. Ensure that there are no large pieces of spinach or garlic left. This is crucial for the aesthetics and textural uniformity of our filling, as it should be silky. You will see the mixture transform into a beautiful, rich green puree. This approach allows us to fully unfold and integrate all the flavors, creating an ideal base for our roll. Have you ever considered how different culinary techniques can drastically alter the texture and perception of the same ingredients? So, dear home cooks, our boiled potatoes, which we previously prepared with such care, have reached perfect tenderness and are completely ready to transform into a velvety smooth puree. Remember that potatoes, this incredibly versatile root vegetable, are an excellent source of vitamin C, potassium, and fiber, making them not only delicious, but also a beneficial addition to our meatloaf. Grab a potato masher, It's the best tool for creating a uniform yet airy texture, free of undesirable lumps. Avoid using a blender, as it can overwork the starch in the potatoes, making the puree gummy and unpleasantly gluey. Dear friends, now it's time to add the aromatic spinach stir-fry with garlic and cream to our creamy mashed potatoes. Remember how carefully we prepared the spinach? This healthy green vegetable, rich in vitamins K, A, and C, will give the filling not only a beautiful color, but also a deep, earthy taste, and the garlic, a subtle piquant aroma. Thoroughly and gently mix the spinach mixture into the mashed potatoes, ensuring even distribution. Now, dear friends, to this wonderful potato and spinach puree, we will add canned corn. Typically, for a portion like this, one standard can, approximately 15.25 ounces, or 432 grams, is quite enough, which should first be well drained of liquid. Corn, this bright, sunny grain, native to Central America, will give our filling a lovely sweetness, a pleasant light crunch, and, of course, a colorful visual accent. Its sweet flavor contrasts beautifully with the earthy spinach and creamy potato, making every bite very interesting. Gently and carefully mix all the ingredients so that the corn is evenly distributed throughout the puree. The addition of one chicken egg at this stage is an absolutely correct and extremely important decision. This is a fundamental step for the structural integrity of our filling. The egg acts as an excellent binding agent. Upon heating, the proteins in the egg undergo coagulation, forming chemical bonds that will bind together all the other ingredients of the filling: potatoes, spinach, and corn. Carefully and diligently roll the filling into long, uniform sausages or cylinders. Their length should be comparable to the width of your ground meat layer on the baking sheet, and their thickness such that they fit comfortably in the center and are symmetrical. Try to make them as uniform as possible. This will ensure a beautiful and even slice of the meatloaf once we bake it. Once your filling sausages are ready, very carefully place them precisely in the center of the evenly spread ground meat. They should form a dense, neat line, like the central core of our future meatloaf. Lay them down without rushing, ensuring an even distribution. This guarantees that every slice of the meatloaf will be packed with the juicy filling. Now, the climax, forming the meatloaf. If you used parchment paper under the ground meat, as I highly recommend, use it to gently lift one edge of the meat. Carefully begin rolling it over the filling, moving towards the opposite edge. Do this slowly and gradually, so the meat evenly envelopes the filling. The main goal is to completely enclose the filling with meat, forming a single, compact roll. Thoroughly pinch and seal all the seams and edges of the ground meat to ensure the filling is securely sealed inside. So, dear viewers, let's make a sauce that will add brightness and zest to our dish. We'll start with the foundation, a rich tomato paste. Then, for an incredible tangy note and French charm, let's add French mustard, about 1 to 2 tablespoons. Take a dash of paprika, approximately 1 teaspoon, 5 grams. To soften the flavors and add special sweetness, we'll incorporate natural honey, about 1 tablespoon, 15 milliliters. And finally, for deep umami flavor and savory saltiness, soy sauce, approximately 2 tablespoons. Alright friends, now take your wonderful meatloaf out of the oven after it has baked for about 45 minutes. You'll see that it has already acquired a beautiful golden hue and significantly firmed up, and delightful aromas are already wafting through your kitchen. This is a very crucial moment because the meatloaf is already partially cooked, and now it's time to add that special touch. Take the sauce we just carefully prepared, this aromatic blend of tomato paste, French mustard, paprika, honey, and soy sauce. Using a basting brush, generously and evenly coat the entire surface of the meatloaf. Don't be shy, as this sauce will create a magnificent glaze that will not only give the meatloaf an amazing shine and a caramelized tint, but also enrich every slice of the meatloaf with a bright and multifaceted flavor. This isn't just a sauce, it's the secret ingredient that elevates our dish to a whole new level. Mustard, for instance, in addition to its piquant taste, also helps to tenderize the meat fibers, making it even more delicate. Once the meatloaf is fully covered with this magical glaze, very carefully return it to the oven. Bake for another approximately 10 minutes. During this time, the sauce will slightly thicken and bake onto the meatloaf, forming an appetizing crust and deeply penetrating the upper layers of the meat. And so, the long-awaited moment has arrived. Dear viewers, our magnificent meatloaf with its tender potato filling is completely ready and fragrant in your kitchen. This is the final touch in our culinary journey. Now that the meatloaf has cooled sufficiently after coming out of the oven to be comfortably sliced, grab a sharp knife. Carefully cut off one appetizing slice. You will see a beautiful cross-section, clearly showing the golden crust, juicy meat, and the contrasting, yet equally succulent potato and spinach filling.